Wells Fargo. Our support of Aggie students goes beyond just banking. By supporting News 22, we're giving back to the community. Wells Fargo. Together, we'll go far.
Tonight on News 22.
There's an end in sight.
NMSU is working to figure out how to save water.
And we'll meet two twin dreamers hoping to stay in the United States.
All that and more on News 22 Tuesday.
Serving southern New Mexico, this is the award-winning KRWG-TV News 22, where news matters.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Amanda Adame.
And I'm Michael Navarrete. If you're tired of all the road construction in Las Cruces, at least one big project is drawing to a close.
During the next month or so, the work will be finished on Valley Drive and Solano. Highway crews were out there today. What they're doing now is moving utility lines and installing lighting. The whole reason is safety. Amy Evans with the New Mexico Department of Transportation says the increase in traffic had made areas dangerous. This project will allow traffic to move more smoothly and safely. Even though they're city streets, the State Department of Transportation is in charge because it intersects with State Highway 70 and is a safety problem. In Santa Fe, some New Mexico lawmakers say it should be legal to treat opioid addiction with marijuana. Supporters gathered Monday in Santa Fe to build support for expanding access to medical marijuana. The state health department is awaiting a medical opinion before making a decision. The New Mexico Senate has approved a tax credit to offset cost of solar energy systems for households, small businesses, and farms. The Senate voted 37-3 on Monday for a bill that rewards investments in small, safe rooftop solar. The proposal now moves to the House, where outgoing GOP Governor Susana Martinez has indicated she is not likely to approve it. And the Governor's New Mexico High School Sports says students who get an F grade won't be eligible to play sports next year. The New Mexico Activities Association says all student athletes must have at least a 2.0 GPA and F grades, and no F grades. Eligibility will be determined by semester grades and not 6 or 9 week period grades.
Senator Tom Udall is questioning one new proposal of President Trump. Trump's newest plan for infrastructure relies on local and state governments to pay for trillions of dollars of investments. Udall says New Mexicans won't be able to afford this plan, and it's completely unworkable for big rural states such as New Mexico. Udall believes this is a missed opportunity for the president to find common ground with the American people.
It's been really beautiful outside today.
I know, I think that's subject to change though. Victoria Balderrama with our first look at weather.
Thanks guys, this is Victoria Valderrama taking a first look at your current conditions. Right now in Las Cruces we have partly cloudy skies with a temperature of 62 degrees, winds coming from the southeast at 4 miles per hour, humidity at a low 19%, our dew point reads at 12 degrees and our barometer sits at 30.12 inches. Today in Las Cruces we had a high of 72 degrees and we woke up to a low of 44 degrees. And the average for this date is 58 degrees. Traveling back in time in 1962, we had a high of 76, and only a year later in 1963, we had a low of 10 degrees. We had no rainfall today, so it stays at 0.13 inches. That's all I have for you now. Back to Michael and Amanda at the desk.
Thanks, Vicki. New Mexico State is looking for a way to cut down on water waste. The idea is to reduce the amount of water that goes to waste with traditional sprinklers at student housing. Work crews have already installed a subsurface drip irrigation system at 15 homes at the Sutherland Village along Espina Street. Subsurface irrigation is waters from the ground up and takes the water to the root system instead of having pop-up sprinklers. It's estimated this system could cut water use by a third.
The NMSU Board of Regents said Chancellor Gary Carruthers can no longer hire or fire top-level administrators. The regents say they must approve all top-level personnel changes. Carruthers is retiring this summer, and Board Chairwoman Deborah Hicks said the move is to allow whomever is hired as the next chancellor the room to make those decisions. The Senate's immigration debate is underway.
One of those issues to be discussed in detail is 1.8 million undocumented immigrants who were brought to the U.S. as children, otherwise known as Dreamers. John Loring reports.
John and James are dreamers, brought to the U.S. when they were 10 years old.
They say
the two greatest days of your lives are the day you are born and the day you find out why.
Yeah.
So for us, this is our why.
The Philippine natives who didn't want their last name given are under contract with the Army.
Just give us a chance to prove that we're Americans.
The identical twins signed up to serve under a now-defunct program for undocumented immigrants. Now they wait to see if they'll be deployed or deported. One undocumented immigrant who won't be deported right now is Jesus Barones. He's been granted a one-year stay on humanitarian grounds. His 5-year-old son is fighting leukemia.
He's actually happy because he knows now that I'm going to be able to go home now and be with my whole family at home.
Prior to getting the stay, Barones sought refuge in a Phoenix church. The government will review Barones' case to determine if he can stay in the U.S. for good. He and his wife are expecting another child in about 4 months. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
President Trump has proposed to give the Dreamers a path to citizenship if he gets a number of immigration reforms. That includes $25 billion for a proposed border wall. A Las Cruces police officer has resigned after being charged with a DWI.
That's the first story in tonight's Crime Blotter.
Ryan Olguin was a patrol officer for LCPD. He was pulled over in Anthony by a Doña Ana County deputy on Friday for allegedly failing to stay in his lane. The deputy says he refused to cooperate in standard field sobriety test and also admitted to his license being suspended. After the charges, he decided to quit. A Las Cruces woman is recovering from her injuries after police say her ex-boyfriend broke into her house and beat her up. Daniel Ray Guerrero is charged with 3 felonies and a handful of misdemeanors, including aggravated battery and assault. The woman told investigators that Guerrero got angry with her when she went to a party without him. Guerrero was arrested Friday evening and booked into the Doña Ana County Detention Center, where he's initially being held without bond. And Las Cruces Crime Stoppers is offering a reward of up to $1,000 for information that helps identify the man suspected of robbing the Denny's restaurant on Baton Memorial Highway. Police say in late December he went into the restaurant armed with a handgun and demanded cash from the register. He's about 6 feet tall with a stocky build. He's in his late 20s or 30s. Anyone with information that can help identify the suspect is asked to call Las Cruces Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477.
Stay tuned. Vicky will be back with your national forecast.
But first, we show you why Valentine's Day candy can actually be good for you. More on that when News 22 continues.
I'm Nora Michaud, Program Manager for KRWG. Sewing with Nancy continues the tradition of bringing the best in contemporary sewing, quilting, and home decorating ideas to public television viewers. Join Nancy Zeman and her guests as they share the love of the sewing arts by exploring the latest ideas in one of the country's most popular crafts. Tune in Wednesdays at 2:30 p.m. as we sew together some new ideas. For more programming information, visit krwg.org.
For hundreds of years in English-speaking courtrooms around the world,
we live in a completely different economy.
Stick to the facts. That's all you got to do. It's not that hard.
What international connections look like.
People have sworn an oath to tell not only the truth.
Women are always told not now.
Machine, not just intelligence, but consciousness.
They come back now on Tuesdays and we try to run the country on Wednesdays.
But rather the whole truth.
Saturday at 12 noon on KRWG-TV.
Welcome back. You're watching News 22 Tuesday,
where news matters. This year, an Albuquerque couple is marking 39 years of celebrating Valentine's Day with their special tradition.
Megan Cruz reports.
If you think...
Well, honey, guess what I brought you? Look at that. That's for Valentine's Day, honey.
You're watching.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Something unremarkable.
This is to my Valentine.
You're wrong, because this
I'll give you one.
Is no ordinary box of chocolates. To explain, let's go back in time to 1979. Ron Kramer was an insurance salesman here in Albuquerque. In January, he knocked on Donna's door.
He saw me first in my quilted bathroom. I was really sexy.
And what did you have on your feet?
Oh, yeah. Big Bird slippers. That's what.
They started to date. On Valentine's Day, he asked if she liked chocolates.
She says, yes, I like dark chocolate creams, and I like it from Buffett's Candy.
Ron dutifully obliged. The staff at the candy shop.
They said, now, if you bring this box back next year and you want to refill it, we won't charge you for the box. We'll just charge you for the candy.
He didn't think anything of it at the time. But Donna,
because I wouldn't have had enough sense to do that,
saw a tradition in the making. So this Valentine's Day is the 39th year he's used this same box to give sweets to his sweet.
So do you pick the chocolates that go into the box, or you let them?
No, I let them pick it. As long as it's dark chocolate creams, and they know the variety better.
So
We'll see you next year.
You bet you will. We're not done with this box.
with his heart in his hands,
Valentine's Day.
Ron walks into Brookdale, an assisted living facility. Donna was diagnosed with dementia in 2014.
She got to the point where she couldn't write, she couldn't speak, she couldn't go to the restroom, she couldn't do anything by herself. She had to go into a home in August of 2015, and that was probably the saddest day of my life. You're okay, man. You're okay. I'm with you. I'm with you. She's going to forget. She's going to forget who I am. So enjoy every minute you can have with them where they can still remember you.
Lucky for him, she remembered.
You're a lucky lady.
I know. That's why I'm going to keep him. He's a keeper.
You haven't kicked him to the curb yet, so.
Oh, hell no.
In Albuquerque.
Thank you, honey.
Megan Cruz,
I love you.
I love you too, honey.
KOAT Action 7 News.
And tomorrow is Valentine's Day, so if you don't know what to get your significant other, try chocolate.
It's not only a romantic gift, but it also has health benefits. We have all the sweet details in today's Health Minute.
There's never a bad time for chocolate, and while it may be linked with love and romance, it also has some healthy benefits. One study says as little as 1/4 of an ounce of chocolate a day may keep the heart doctor away. Dark chocolate, that is. The German Institute of Human Nutrition says it could lower the risk of experiencing a heart attack or stroke. Another study says chocolate can help improve a person's mood. It's also a good antioxidant and helps with inflammation. However, not all chocolate is created equal. Remember, moderation is key.
The New Mexico Department of Health is getting creative to spread the word about National Condom Month. An Instagram post of a red chili pepper with a condom on it is the first of many memorable posts used to raise awareness. The message is perfect timing, given that the rates of sexually transmitted diseases in New Mexico have been on a rise. Condoms can prevent sexually transmitted diseases. The NMSU Health Department will continue to spread awareness through Instagram for the rest of the month.
Well, we've been getting pretty lucky with this weather, but the rest of the country is kind of suffering.
Sure have. Here's Vicki with our weather.gov national forecast.
That's right, guys. Now looking at our national forecast map, the cold front moving down into the continental United States, we're seeing International Falls at a low of 26 degrees, Minneapolis at 29 degrees. This central area of the United States does get a bit warmer, so we see Kansas at 52 degrees and sunny skies, and Denver at 59 degrees. In our next map, we'll see why we're going to be experiencing some scattered showers throughout this week. As we can see from this green shaded area, rain along with snow is coming down from Canada, making its way into Texas and the New Mexico region. But in our next map, while we're seeing a lot of rain, other places will be getting a lot of snow. Portland, Boise, Great Falls, Rapid City are going to be having some snow spread midweek. And especially Great Falls and Rapid City will be getting some much colder temperatures than other places in the United States. That's all I have for your national maps. Stay tuned for your New Mexico local conditions.
Surviving and thriving after a tragic accident. How a man was brought back from the brink of death by rock and roll.
Plus, you're never too old to play. Start now and make the rest of your life the best of your life.
On the next Growing Bolder.
On Masterpiece. I have decided to go somewhere else. Scotland.
Your Majesty.
The Prince and I would very much like to see something of the countryside.
Our Queen and the Prince have vanished.
How can anyone lose a queen? Victoria. On Masterpiece.
Sunday at 7 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
The Tower of London,
a mighty fortress, infamous prison, place of execution. With unprecedented access, we go behind the scenes to unravel the secrets behind one of Britain's most iconic landmarks.
Sunday at 9 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
Welcome back. You're watching News 22 Tuesday. Right now in New Mexico, Farmington is at 46 degrees, Santa Fe at 46, Albuquerque 55, Clovis 51, Roswell at 56, and Deming at 61. Tomorrow in New Mexico, Farmington will be at 55, Gallup at 55 as well, Clovis 71, Roswell at a high of 78, Las Cruces tomorrow at 67, and Deming at 63. In our neighboring cities, Alamogordo tonight will have some cloudy skies with a low of 45, and tomorrow at a high of 66. In TRC tonight, they'll be having cloudy skies as well and a low of 44, and tomorrow they'll have a high of 67. In Silver City tonight, they'll also have cloudy skies, a low of 44, and tomorrow a high of 67. And in the City of the Crosses tonight, we'll be having some cloudy skies, a low of 44, and tomorrow a high of 67. That's all I have for you now. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll talk sports with Nolan Fox. And back to desk with Michael and Amanda.
And officials in Tucson, Arizona are battling the fast-moving Nob Hill fire. They say it was caused by human carelessness.
That's the first story in tonight's Southwest Minute.
The Nob fire near Tucson has already placed around 20 families on pre-evacuation. Firefighters say this is very early to begin the fire season. The cool weather and mild winds are helping now, but conditions could get worse as summer approaches. People who live there say the fires are bad, but the beautiful country makes it worth the risk. The Nob Hill fire is about 15% contained. It's also a $105 million renovation to Houston's Astrodome. The Harris County Commissioners Court voted to turn the dome into an event center with parking underneath. The plan involves raising the ground level up 2 floors, which would create a parking garage with 1,400 more parking spots. Construction could begin in October and is expected to take about 17 months. And it's time to let the good times roll in New Orleans for Mardi Gras. The Rex and Zulu parades made their way through the streets Tuesday, kicking off a day of celebration. The Fat Tuesday's revelry in the Big Easy holds a special significance this year, as New Orleans marks its 300th anniversary. I'm Shelby Catt with today's Southwest Minute.
And the Winter Olympics are officially underway.
It's getting pretty exciting. Nolan Fox is up next with sports.
Thanks, guys. Coming up in sports, we'll give you a close look at men's head basketball coach Chris Jans. We'll be right back with News 22 Sports.
Thousand men, trapped, desperate, exposed.
Britain would have had to surrender.
How did the Allies survive Dunkirk? Nova uncovers the truth.
It was absolute genius.
Courage, science, and technical brilliance.
This is the key.
Prevent disaster and change history.
It was a miracle at Dunkirk.
The Great Escape at Dunkirk on Nova.
Wednesday at 8 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
Think Wednesday on PBS for stories from the world around us. Stories with a new perspective.
They're going to take us to places a cameraman like me cannot go.
Disaster and courage.
Britain would have had to surrender.
And extraordinary construction.
We are literally building a sea.
For stories that get you closer to life. Think Wednesday
on KRWG-TV.
This is KRWG News 22 Sports.
Welcome back, and hold on to your socks because I'm Nolan Fox with News 22 Sports. The Aggie men's basketball team remains undefeated in conference play. In front of a sold-out crowd, the Aggies hosted Grand Canyon on Saturday night. The Lopes got off to a hot start, but the Aggies fought back. Jamiro Jones led the way with 27 points and 20 rebounds. He helped the Aggies erase a 10-point second-half deficit really late. On the final sequence, with the Aggies leading by 3, GCU missed 2 3-pointers, and the Aggies got the win 74-70. After the game, Jones was excited about the comeback. Here he is with News 22's Jackie Loera.
We was in that position plenty of times, like against New Mexico, Illinois, and Davidson too, and like so we were used to it. And, like we didn't panic, so we just kept our composure. And, like we knew we were gonna handle business. We didn't know we were gonna win, but we knew we were gonna handle business.
Were you expecting the outcome that happened? Were you guys expecting for it to be that close of a game?
No, I ain't gonna lie, I did. I thought we were gonna really win by like 12 or 11 to keep it 100. And, like how we been playing, like I thought we were gonna win by 22, but like they came here after the UTRT loss, like. Just showed us like we ain't that much better than them.
Jones and the Aggies will head to Orem on Thursday to take on Utah Valley. The Aggies beat the Wolverines 86-59 last time they met. Well, the Aggie basketball team is on fire, but the season didn't start that way. After head coach Paul Weir left, they needed a new leader, and they found it in Chris Jans. But with the controversial departure, his only head coaching job, fans were skeptical. Now, 10 months later, there are sold-out crowds and there is national exposure. News 22's Mike Vigil sat down with Coach Jans for his take on how it happened.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey. Obviously, the story's still being written.
When Chris Jans arrived in Las Cruces last April, he faced a unique challenge. He inherited a team that set a school record for wins, but lost several key players. And a new coach meant a new system.
We had some inner strife and some butting of heads, and finally we kind of came together and got on the same page.
The turnaround came at the beginning of the season in an exhibition game against Texas Tech.
All of the issues that we had been talking about in practice kind of peaked their head, and it all came crashing down in that one game.
The Aggies lost 84-54. Jan says that loss was more valuable than a win.
I told our staff that, hopefully we're going to look back and then realize that this was the best thing that ever happened to us, and I really think it was.
But the fans were skeptical. Jans was fired as head coach from Bowling Green University. He was accused of inappropriate comments to a woman. The athletic director, Mario Mocha, took a chance.
I was very hopeful that this was going to happen. I didn't know exactly when or where, and I'm very glad that it's here at New Mexico State.
Now, weeks away from the NCAA tournament, the Aggies are undefeated in conference play. They beat rivals UNM and UTEP and had big wins over Miami, Davidson, and Illinois. And the fans are happy.
What I love is when I hear, how they love how we play. And I've always said this, I think our style of play will resonate with this community. We're, a blue-collar bunch.
Fans have rallied around this team. Saturday night's game against Grand Canyon sold out.
I've heard so much about what the Pan Am used to look like, back in the heyday when the crowds were coming out in force, and most of the games were sold out or close to it. And now having been through that, to feel that and see that, it just makes me be able to relate to what they're talking about now more than ever.
Mike Vigil, News 22.
UNM head football coach Bob Davie is in some hot water. He's facing a 30-day suspension following misconduct allegations. UNM says Davie will appeal the suspension. It was reported that Davie used racial slurs and physically abused an injured player. The Las Cruces High boys basketball team remains undefeated on the season. The #1 ranked Bulldogs extended their record to 24-0 with an 82-38 blowout of Centennial on Friday. They will play at Oñate on Friday night, they'll play on Oñate tonight and Mayfield on Friday to try to finish off a perfect regular season. And that's all for sports tonight. Join us for more sports action tomorrow. Still ahead on News 22, Vicky will be back with a look at your 5-day forecast. But first, you may want to keep an eye out when walking down by the river. Find out why when News 22 returns.
On Masterpiece. I have decided to go somewhere else. Scotland.
Your Majesty.
The Prince and I would very much like to see something of the countryside.
The Queen and the Prince have vanished.
How can anyone lose a queen?
Victoria. on Masterpiece.
Thursday at 8 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
Coming up on Austin City Limits.
'Cause every turn you feel some but the road, and I'm a traveler. Oh, I'm a traveler.
Saturday at 9 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
That's with the new year. Let's take a look at our top stories for the night. Construction is a pain in everyone's side, but another project is closer to being done. Construction on Valley and Solano is set to wrap up by the end of this month. A team of NMSU groundskeepers partnered up with a professor to find a new way to conserve water when it comes to campus housing sprinkler systems. And we met two Filipino twins who were brought to the U.S. as kids. They are dreamers who have hopes of staying in the U.S.
Clowns are a sight that can make anyone run, so run on a running trail is convenient. These are videos taken by runners in Albuquerque's Bosque. Someone's been dressing up as a terrifying Penny the Wise clown and standing in the Bosque. The clown was spotted this Sunday. Residents say it caught them off guard, to say the least. The man has been identified as Albuquerque resident Everett Wilbanks. Wilbanks had the authorities called on him. He assured them he wasn't doing anything illegal or wrong. The video has had 150,000 views since Sunday.
So we'll
That's
go ahead.
A funny story.
Yeah, that's
scary,
sure.
yeah.
Imagine I would sprint. So
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and take a look at our 5-day.
So guys, we are kind of having a shift in our temperatures this week. We are going to be seeing some cloudy skies and some scattered showers. Tomorrow we'll have a high of 67 and a low of 51, and throughout the week we'll be in the mid 60s, but at night we'll definitely be dipping into the low 30s, with tomorrow a low of 51 and Thursday a low of 49. So be prepared for those roads to be a little slippery.
Keeping those umbrellas handy.
Exactly.
Yeah, and those
Don't put
jackets
away
on.
the jackets
Yeah.
yet.
Thanks for joining us for our first newscast of the new year.
Hopefully it will be this strong and continue to be so. We'll hope to see you here on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And don't forget, you can catch all today's aired stories and past newscasts on YouTube page at youtube.com/KRWG.
Thanks for joining us. Good night.
Good night.
Local support for a portion of today's programming is provided by Wells Fargo. Our support of Aggie students goes beyond just banking. By supporting News 22, we're giving back to the community. Wells Fargo. Together, we'll go far.
Isabel, congratulations.